Welcome to another video, guys. Today I'm going to talk about. We have an interesting topic today, and if you will just excuse my CS2 surfing gameplay, I haven't surfed in some time, but let's hope that I can do this flawlessly. Um, so today we're going to talk about the rapid debasement of the dollar and why basically dollars are kind of a flawed system, and the central bank is as well. And pretty much the whole lie that our people were just fed for generations and generations. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about and bring up, maybe after I finish this map, I will bring up this chart. But the insane debasement of the dollar since its inception, just the price of things. Oh, first try, damn. All right, 50 seconds. Not bad. So, you know, there's a difference between things with a finite supply and an infinite supply. And the term hard money dates back really far. So, we used to use, before we had money, before we had gold, coins, paper currency, they even used actually grains of rice in ancient Japan for currency. But before we had all these different things, they used to just barter. And someone was maybe a shepherd, and he would barter his sheep for someone's bread. I guess a baker or a blacksmith would barter their creations for pretty much anything, and that's how society worked. And you were actually exchanging value based upon goods and services, which I think that's really a good way of doing things. But obviously, it comes with its limitations as well, like the fact that you know not everything is easily kind of transferable, and the payment and like the unit of account, I guess you could say, is just really difficult to kind of measure. So they moved on from that system, and then they started using gold, and they started using what we have today, which is fiat currency. And a lot of people don't really know this. I talked about this in my last video. I mentioned it briefly, but I just dropped my knife. I had to switch. Let's go terrorist side. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but Richard Nixon actually took the dollar off of the gold standard in 1971. I can actually pull up the clip of that radio broadcast for people that have never seen it. But the reason why and the rationale behind it was because apparently I actually just learned this by listening to shout out Crypto Maxi for telling me about this book. There's an animated YouTube video. I think it's about like 40 minutes long, maybe 30 minutes long, of on Ray Dalio's book called The Changing. I think it's like Navigating the Changing World Order, something to do with like the changing world order. Um, Talks about like economics, currency, future, the past. Kind of talks about a lot of different topics, but essentially what was happening was the U.S. government was lending out too much gold. Like they were keeping their promise of backing the currency with gold, but the other countries were demanding gold for their U.S. dollars. And since we've been the world reserve currency for quite some time, they demanded that those gold reserves back instead of that paper currency. So when the U.S. was starting to run out of gold, they said, "All right, let's just break the promise that we made to our people and take the dollar off of the gold standard." And that's one of the reasons why I actually just kind of learned about that. I didn't really know that was the reason, but the original reason I was taught was to fund the Vietnam War. So this was right during, I think, either when the Vietnam War started heating up, or maybe like kind of the start of the Vietnam War, like in the earlier days when Nixon was president. It was like 1971, so that war lasted a while. So he wanted to fund the Vietnam War, and obviously, as we all know, wars are very inflationary. Like, all the countries are printing money. They're just trying to constantly keep up with the other countries' technological advancements. But, fundamentally, I don't think our currency in the dollar should be inflationary. So what I mean by that is, so obviously, when there are wars and there's Great Depressions and things like that, the economy struggles in different ways. Actually, war is actually causes a boom in the economy. Like World War II actually brought us out of the Great Depression, but it was quite inflationary. They were printing a lot of money, and using that a lot on military spending. So and it definitely increased the debt a lot back then. Nowhere near the levels that it's at now, but the debt definitely increased. But you know the the economy will 100% struggle from obviously printing more currency, or the debasement of the currency will accelerate, since it is being printed and the supply is not finite. So therefore, more dollars in the system means the dollar in your pocket's worth less. And fundamentally, this doesn't really make sense to me, because the currency that we're all using, the unit of account that we all carry in our pockets and we save in U.S. dollars, and whether you're British and you save in British pounds, or you're Australian, you have Australian dollars in your pocket, doesn't matter. Like, all these countries are using fiat, the fiat system, and the problem with this debt-based system is that it inherently is inflationary, and the value of these dollars just continues to go down as time goes on. Where we're making strides in technology, and things are really getting better. Like, the modern, it's like one thing I like to quote, Murad, must stop Murad on Twitter. He says this a lot. He says the average person, doesn't matter if you're, let's just take a lower class American or a lower class person nowadays, has more luxuries, like, physically, than a king did back in the 1500s, because they have access to running water, they have access to, like, you know all these different things. Pretty much, they have modern access to modern medicine. Sure, they might have to spend a lot on healthcare and all that bullshit, but you get what I'm saying. They have access to clean food, clean water, and I mean, not purely clean food, because our food is being poisoned, but you know what I'm saying. They could go to the grocery store, they could go to McDonald's, they could pick up food whenever they want at their own expense. And the kings back in the days had to deal with famines, and I mean, they really wouldn't have to deal with that because they were royalty, but they had to basically shit outside and do different things, and they didn't really have access to modern architecture, modern living, modern plumbing, modern medicine, modern food, like even modern entertainment. Like, their version of entertainment was like watching two Spartans like fight each other, which sounds pretty epic. But nowadays, you could just flick on your YouTube TV. Like, even a person that's a lower class American can still afford a smart TV, or um, can pay certain lower level subscriptions and get access to virtually all the Netflix they can physically consume. They won't even have enough time to consume all that goddamn media. So, really, we are living in, technologically speaking, we're living in probably the most prosperous era. And, exponentially, it is increasing. The technology just gets better and better exponentially as time goes on. And I think that inherently that shouldn't be inflationary. It should be deflationary. So why the hell is the dollar just losing value, or why do we have to subject ourselves to certain conditions when the world is pretty much at a stage that it's never been at, uh, in the past. And I think that is kind of inherently wrong. That our hard-earned money that we spend time to acquire, it just gets less and less. It just diminishes more over time. Like, our money that we sacrifice our time for, it just becomes less and less valuable with time advancing. So I think that is broken. 100%. It's totally broken. Oh, I have to. These guys are talking. I have to mute them. Crap. Oh, I could literally pull up a web browser in this game. That's hilarious. But I already have it pulled up. Um, hold up. Let me go back to the servers, because I need to. I need to get my surf servers pulled up. So this is one of my favorite maps right here, guys. Whiteout. Before I surf this, though, I'm gonna pull up this. Let's see if we can see it on the screen. Yeah. All right. So what I have in the search bar is dollars printed each week. Um, hmm. Oh, I should really move my face from this, but let's see. Let's see if we can go like that and put it more here. So it says the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Sorry. Ugh. No, why I feel my ears popping. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing produces about 38 million notes a day, which averages to approximately 541 million per day, for a weekly total of 2.7 billion. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So the daily production, the government prints about 38 million notes per day, the face value of approximately 541 million. Blah blah blah. Based on a 5-day work week, they're printing 2.7. So every single work week, 2.7 billion dollars of new dollars into circulation. Um, Now this isn't a good point though. A lot of the printed notes are to replace old and worn out currency already in circulation, not to increase the overall money supply. But you can't trust everything they're fucking saying. You can't trust everything they're saying, and they actually are printing digitally. So how does the Fed print? Sorry, my keyboard's angled right now. They literally can print digitally. So by buying government bonds and other assets from banks while electronically adding funds to the bank's reserves accounts. This is like, come on, you can't tell me we're not in a simulation. This is literally like, how are they illegal? How is this legal? Like, oh yeah, Jerome Powell explains it. He says we can literally print money digitally. We do it digitally. He's like, we do it digitally, guys. Ah, give me the damn video.
We did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally.
Print it digitally.
So we as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally, and we do that by buying treasury bills or bonds or other government guaranteed securities, and that actually
Right.
increases the money supply. We also print actual currency, and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve Bank.
All right, all right. Enough. I'm sick of you, Jerome Powell. All right, ready? Richard Nixon takes off the gold standard. Let's see if we can find. Here we go.
The third indispensable element in building the new prosperity is closely related to creating new jobs and halting inflation. We must protect the position
A lot of people don't know this.
as a pillar of monetary stability around the world. In the past 7 years, there's been an average of one international monetary crisis every year. Now, who gains from these crises? Not the working man, not the investor, not the real producers of wealth. The gainers are the international money speculators. Because they thrive on crises, they help to create them.
He's kind of right about that.
In recent weeks, the speculators have been waging an all-out war.
So they had Forex trading back then?
The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy.
Right.
And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world.
Was.
Accordingly,
Was.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar
That's
to
it.
gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the
That part's
benefit
bullshit.
of the United States.
That part, except, like, yeah, no, you're not.
What is this action which
You're just not gonna convert it.
What does it mean for you? Let me lay to rest the bugaboo of what is called devaluation. If you want to buy a foreign car or take a trip abroad, market conditions may cause your dollar to buy slightly less. But if you are among the overwhelming majority of Americans who buy American-made products in America, your dollar will be worth just as much tomorrow as it is today.
Cap!
The effect of this
That's
action, in other
that's
words, will be
bullshit, Richard Nixon.
the dollar.
All right.
Now, this action will not win us any
All right.
friends among the international money.
Now, Nope. Just because you said that, Richard Nixon, look at this chart. It's data. There's data on it. Federal Reserve Act. Okay, ready? So where's? I wonder where Richard Nixon is. Okay, there's this. There's the 1970s. So this is the U.S. dollar priced, right? He just said if you're buying American-based products, that's complete bullshit. It doesn't matter if you're buying products abroad. It doesn't matter if you're buying products in the U.S. This is the Federal Reserve creates central bank with the ability to manage the country's money supply. The value of a U.S. dollar 2020, one U.S. dollar was worth almost about over $25 of today's currency or 2020 currency. It's probably even fucking higher now. That's crazy. Then we see a sharp decline around 1920. I guess because the devaluation of the dollar kind of started right away. But see, the craziest thing is at the bottom here. Like the timeline's interesting. You have U.S. President Roosevelt basically criminalizes the possession of gold. That's crazy. I actually didn't really even know that. Stock market crashes in the lead up to the Great Depression, but the dollar was less valuable here, and the asset prices were definitely much higher. So this is like the 1920s, like Roaring Twenties bubble. So it kind of makes sense that the dollar was actually devalued here, and then the value kind of returned as we got out of the Depression because the stock market crashed and shit like that. So Bretton Woods Agreement, we make the dollar the reserve currency for the world, and like the gold standards abolished here. Right after Richard Nixon makes that announcement, like the dollar continued to lose value. So what he said at the end there was complete BS. Quantitative easing begins in the response to the financial crisis, and the U.S. money supply grew by 3.8 trillion in 2020, equal to 20% of dollars ever created. Man, those stimulus checks, like they did a lot. They ruined a lot of our devaluation. So they caused so much devaluation. So what $1 bought in 1913, 2614 is what it was is worth in 2020 dollars. 30 Hershey's chocolate bars. That's crazy, man. You probably can't even get at the convenience store one Hershey's chocolate bar for $1 nowadays. I mean, when I was a kid, that's actually how much it costed. That's fucking crazy. So in 1929, you could get 10 rolls of toilet paper for $1. That's kind of a steal. I just bought toilet paper on Amazon for my house. Like that shit was not cheap. 10 bottles of beer for $1 in 1933. For all you that know me on X, your boy would kill for that shit. 20 bottles of Coca-Cola in 1944. Damn. You can't even get one bottle. I think about nearby gas station it's probably like 250 for the 20-ounce bottle of Coke. That's crazy. $9.69, 10 bags of pretzels, 1953. I don't even want to know how much 10 bags of pretzels would probably cost you nowadays. A drive-in movie ticket. So a movie ticket was $1 in 1964. Now it's like 12, 15, 20x from there, depending on the movie and the theater you're at. 17 oranges for $1 in 1971. Man, fruit was so cheap. 2 boxes of crayons in 1987. Not too crazy. 4 grapefruits in 1997. Yeah, those would cost you a fortune nowadays. 2 lemons in 2008 and one McDonald's coffee 2020. That's probably still accurate. I bet you. Crazy as shit. Crazy shit. And then I was looking up this. Google doesn't want you to know that is the truth. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that the people on the Titanic that died. Dude, come on. You're telling me that. All right, I gotta mute these people. You're telling me that. Oh, they just magically passed away on the Titanic, and some people didn't take the ride on the Titanic, but the people that oppose the central banking system, they were the ones who still fucking rode the Titanic, and they were men, and they did not get saved. Like, dude, oh my god, dude, like that's definitely I believe in that conspiracy, 100%. Like, fuck the central banks, man. Fuck that shit. So all these points that I bring up are pretty anti centralization and anti control, And I personally believe in a decentralized system. I don't believe in central control. I don't like how these people at the top or these central banks or these governments can control our currency. It's manipulative. They can control our people. It shouldn't be this way. We should have a system that is equitable and fair and that should essentially be completely equitable and even for all types of people. It shouldn't be this way to where there is a flawed system. So one thing I wanted to look up is history of money graphic. Evolution of money. Yeah, the evolution of money. I really like this picture. I remember this was on a podcast I saw recently. They were talking about this. I need to find like the right one. Yeah, I guess any of them work. Wait, why do these all suck? So, like I said earlier in this video, we had so we went from barter to gold to metal coins to paper money. There's a couple of things between like barter, gold, and metal coins. Like I was saying earlier, like they even use seashells and like these weird like circular rocks and like things like that. And they use like ancient Japan, they used rice. But regardless, and then we have paper money. Now we have plastic cards and kind of like digital credit, electronic money, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the end road. It is. Look at all these graphics. Cryptocurrency with the Bitcoin logo. Everything leads to crypto. I want to find. I want to find the graphic I saw earlier. Nah, whatever. It's really interesting to see the history of money. Okay, like here. If this will load. Physical objects in like 6,000 BC, they used like the stones. The barter system was 5,000 BC. They just used straight gold, then metal coins. It all goes back to crypto. So and the reason why I bring up crypto and say that this is kind of the next iteration of truly gold. It isn't like fiat currency actually, because gold has a finite supply. Same with the number of bitcoins, the number of any crypto coin that isn't mintable. There are some coins that are mintable, and they can be more shares can be printed. But even the stock market isn't fully finite. Like when that GME short squeeze happened in 2021, there were new shares minted that there were new shares printed, and GameStop basically had control of the shares and that distribution of those. So even something like that, you're not fully with a finite restricted supply. But gold, I mean, as long as we don't stumble upon some crazy gold reserve in some random country or in the Earth's crust, or even like they're talking about like asteroid mining, and there's some asteroid that has like quadrillions worth of like US dollars worth of gold. And if we do get some advanced technology and we can use like AI and like crazy robotics and some NASA technology and shit to like mine that, that will increase the supply of gold and will inherently make gold less valuable. But you know, as long as some crazy catalyst event doesn't happen, I would bet that fiat currency is going to get debased against gold, against Bitcoin. It will just keep losing value. They have to keep printing money to keep the system alive. There's really no way around it at this point. That's all they're going to do. The more that the national debt increases, the more that countries want to fund wars, the more that just shit just keeps going south and the economy needs saving. Like they're just going to keep printing currency, and it's really not going to stop anytime soon. And the off chance that they do end up finding some crazy amount of gold, or the whole Bitcoin network gets hacked, like a lot of people in crypto, or that are new to crypto actually, that don't understand it, will kind of beg the question, like, well, what happens if someone hacks it? Or like I don't think you understand how like hard it is to crack something like cryptography is like really really fucking hard to, like, the encryption layers on Bitcoin and Ethereum, like, dude, you are not going to crack that. Like, I'm sorry, but like, man, it these hackers have probably tried for years. The protocol has been around since 2009. Like, Satoshi created it right after the 2008 financial crisis. So, if they haven't hacked it by now, and you're worried about like quantum computers, man, just buy a little bit. Buy it for your grandkids. Buy it for your kids. Buy it for your descendants. Like, just like take a fucking chance, man. Like, not financial advice, but like, man, if you don't understand it now and you don't start studying it all now, then you are probably going to be really behind come like 2030, when the whole world is using cryptocurrency as a means of exchange. Doesn't have to be Bitcoin they're using as an exchange. Doesn't It may be XRP, it may be Ethereum. You have no idea right now. Maybe they're going to try to make us all use CDBCs and stablecoins and all that government control bullshit. But you know what? Learn about it. Who cares? Who cares what's going to happen in the future? Stop stressing about the future. Look forward, look inward, think, man, the world is going to change. It changes very rapidly. AI is exponentially getting better by the freaking week. Like, it is getting so good. It's almost indistinguishable from reality. Like, these Sora videos are crazy good. And like, the more you understand the nature of money and economics, the more you'll start to realize, like, holy shit, like, why have we been saving in dollars? Why are we using this as a unit of account in our system? Like, it makes zero goddamn sense, honestly. Honestly, the more you understand crypto, the more you'll start to see it this way, and the more you'll be like, wow, like, I can't believe the government psyoped us, like, for years and years and years. And you're just going to have to wake up to that reality. So, study Bitcoin, study Ethereum if you want as well, and please look into SPX 6900, because I think that is going to be the new social financial phenomenon, the convergence of spirituality and finance. It is going to shake a lot of heads. It is going to it's going to make a lot of people rich, but it is going to change a lot of things. And if you understand the whole GameStop short squeeze thing and understand the power of a tokenized movement, then you came to the right place. Stop trading and believe in something. Persist forever. I'll see you guys.